Hello everybody, Angels here and welcome back to Shokei Shoujo Virgin Road, episode 10. Only 3 more episodes to go, including this one. And I still have not a single clue where it's gonna go. I'm assuming the season will end at the culmination of this current arc in this city, the thing with the monstrine and all that. This current arc will also mark the end of this season, but I don't think we're going to go particularly in depth into like the overarching plot. And then again, I might be completely mistaken. And this is Stinging Nettle and Cherry. Very good and beautiful color. I rarely ever see a tea that has this kind of like deep, it doesn't look that great on camera. It's like a deep greenish brown. Interesting. But let's not talk about that. Let's talk about what happened in the previous episode, right? Because that's important, because important things happened in the previous episode. Very important things. And yeah, just give me a second. There we go. Very, very important things happened in the previous episode. Namely, it was kinda hinted at least it seemed to me that it was hinted at, or perhaps even fully established, that Akari's pure concept doesn't have control over other pure concepts. That's why the Pandæmonium walls might be actually crumbling. Because sure, Akari is going back in time and going through those iterations, but the other major human errors, they are not subject to her powers. They spread, they grow, they decay, or whatever it is that they are doing. And someone in the comments confirmed that to me because, yeah, Thomas in the comments, thank you for reminding me that... No, Thomas reminded me of something else. Sorry. Who was it? Who was it? Someone reminded me of it. No, not this person. Tyron in the comments reminded me that in episode 5 or 6 or thereabouts, the white blob, the pure thing of white, wasn't stopped by Akari's powers. She stopped time all around her, but didn't stop the glob. Which means it might be that the effects of other pure concepts are actually immune to other pure concepts. Perhaps even if Akari is killed with the Sword of Salt, she won't actually turn into salt, or whatever it is that the Sword of Salt is supposed to do. Perhaps even if Akari was trapped in the Pandæmonium, she would just be able to walk out of there because it wouldn't be able to keep her. Then again, Pandæmonium itself is the effect of a pure concept. The walls around it aren't. But I think this is genuinely the best explanation of where the changes are coming from, because that's yet another big takeaway from the previous episode, that changes are happening to the timelines, to the consecutive loops, to the consecutive iterations. Things are changing, and they are changing because Akari cannot roll back everything. So every change has to do with the pure concept. Probably mostly with the major human errors. This time the whole party and the whole monstrine deal and all of that. It wouldn't surprise me if it was because the Pandæmonium walls are really getting weaker, are really decaying, and something sneaked past, something seeped through, and they're using it. Hence the changes. That's like my most probable theory. And I mentioned one more thing that someone reminded me of. Thomas, I mentioned that about a different kind of a bubble. I was wondering what's the deal with Ashuna reacting at Menou casting, that she was just casting bubbles, and Ashuna was like, "Whoa, what sort of sorcery is this? It's some powerful magic," and it was just bubbles. And thank you for making me realize, or reminding me, or whatever you want to call it, that Menou was casting multiple spells at this time, because she had the whole illusion so that it looks like she holds the dagger, but she didn't have the dagger. She was probably already starting to cast Gale on it, so Ashuna did figure out that she's casting big and casting a lot, and I thought that it's something special about the bubbles. It's not. Is there anything else that needs mentioning about the previous episode? Akari reverted herself back to her old self, back to her original self, I guess. She got out of the Dojiko mode, I guess we can call it, and she's now going to talk with Manon about what Manon knows, and something tells me Manon knows a lot, because she probably is a daughter of a lost one, and she knows much more than Akari does. Also because she's the leader of the current branch of the Fourth, of the local branch of the Fourth. And the Fourth are probably, maybe that's my assumption, worshipping the Lost Ones, or trying to work with the Lost Ones, or trying to integrate them, or something around the Lost Ones. So wouldn't surprise me if Manon had some very precious, very important information. One more thing that happened is, of course, Momo was poisoned. She's in good care, but that doesn't change the fact that she was poisoned. And indeed, someone, again in the comments, reminded me, or rather, I don't know, I think it was like a detail from the light novel that didn't quite come through in the anime, that indeed healing magic is not a thing. There are no health elixirs. There's no healing magic in this world. That's why Menou wanted to stop Akari from healing that little girl at the train station. That's why she cast bubbles. Because using healing is something extremely, extremely rare and perhaps even unprecedented. So it would put a lot of attention on her. Right, and we ended up the previous episode with Menou getting the permission of the bishop, or what's her face, the girl with bags under her eyes, to surround the headquarters of the Fourth and to kick down the door, do an FBI open up, and bust their gang. And it's going to get interesting because Akari is inside, and Akari is talking with Manon about things, or she's going to be talking about Manon. Meanwhile, the whole place is under siege. Meanwhile, we also have the little girl, who I still have nary a clue who the fuck she is or what the fuck she is. I'm assuming something to do with the Pandæmonium. Perhaps she's possessed by a Pandæmonium demon, perhaps she is a Pandæmonium demon, perhaps she is a reincarnation of Manon's mother. Honestly, would not surprise me in the slightest. Perhaps she's the original Lost One who was trapped behind the Pandæmonium wall. Because she caused the Pandæmonium, she was neatly separated from everybody else. Maybe she was still inside, but Pandæmonium started cracking, so she got out. The Manon took her and used her. Why is she not summoning demons? I don't know. A lot of questions. A lot of questions. And I've been talking about questions for 9.5 minutes already, and we haven't even started watching this episode. Holy fucking shit. I guess we should just start watching it, right? So subs, sound, and support. You can support me on Patreon or by sharing my content. I'm gonna keep reminding you that at the start of the video because nobody really watches my endings. So it is what it is. Okay, episode 10 of Shokei Shoujo Shokei Shoujo no Virgin Road, version by subs, please. I confirmed it is indeed episode 10, so we can start it in 3, 2, 1, go. Yep. Right, there's also the whole trap thing. Yeah, you're not the only one who wants to confront her. Yep. Akari also wants to confront Manon. Yep. Okay, we're just starting where we left off. I like it. She knows a lot, doesn't she? Hmm. Who would it be? Someone who's not under the effects of... Oh, Pandæmonium. Figures. So Pandæmonium really is free from Akari's influence, and apparently it can contact people somehow. Perhaps, again, thanks to the crumbling walls. Because, again, even though Akari reverts time over the entire world, she cannot revert pure concept effects. I have it noted down somewhere in my notebook that perhaps Akari would be able to revert the major human errors, but it's probably gonna be crossed out. Because I think it's like genuinely the opposite. That it's the one and only thing she cannot revert in time. And it probably works the other way too. As I mentioned, probably not even the Sword of Salt can stop Akari from going back in time to the moment where she was uninjured. The daughter of a lost one. I mean, that's all but a confirmation that Manon really is a daughter of a lost one. Or it could be that little girl. That's another possibility, isn't it? Oh. How then? Yeah, be straight with us, please. Does Manon not want to have her revenge? Okay, well that's interesting. Okay, so we know the title. Oh. Huh? So you don't necessarily need to be summoned. You can just be isekai'd by track, I guess. What was her power? Yeah. Which explains why Akari genuinely doesn't remember anything from her real world. The mother was killed by Faust, I'm assuming, perhaps even by Flare herself. Oh, whomst? Menou? I know, it's a stretch. It's a stretch. And yeah, Flare. And what's her power? Etheric Connect? Oh. So I guess we want to know what her power is. Menou is actually my sister. Menou, Manon, similar names. But she didn't. Hmm. So a pure concept isn't hereditary. Mm-hmm. Monstrine. That led her to develop Monstrine, I guess. Mm-hmm. Okay, I guess it makes sense. How are you exactly planning to do that? Summon Shadow. She can use pure concept through Monstrine. So there's a ranking of sorts to pure concepts. Yeah, it failed to stop another pure concept. Q Menou. Right on time. Right on schedule. Is she pretending, or is she... Menou already knows. She was in your mind. Pastor Cecilia, that was the name. And you're gonna do what exactly? Manon isn't exactly approachable right now, is she? Ooh, I love the sound. Explain! Okay, I guess that's her explanation. I have power, I will rebel. An unstoppable force of freedom. No, they're not hereditary. Yep. And now she has become the taboo. Through her own doing. That was her goal. She's essentially contrarian to the extreme. Someone told her, "You're not taboo." She said, "Well, just you fucking wait." And she became a taboo. She chases her dreams, gotta give her that. She's a go-getter. She knows what she wants, and she gets it. Whomst. Just chugged it. Okay, Menou, how are you exactly planning to fight Manon? Because the strength of an executor is that they can approach their target uh, out of, nowhere. The target doesn't even know their powers yet, and that's when an executor steps in. But now it's a one-on-one fight, and Menou doesn't exactly have anything on par with a pure concept. The eyes of an executor. I'm assuming that didn't kill her. No, it was just a stabbing in the arm. Oh, so that's how you can use Gale. Well, that's a very imaginative way to use it. Are you actually going to execute her, though? Because, sure, she's bleeding out, but she's still very much alive, and... Yeah, Manon is onto something. Yep. Yeah, she is. Ah, you should have gone after the little girl. Ether living sacrifice chaos adhesion. Summon happy birthday to me. Is it a monster or is it the little girl? It's the little girl. Hmm. Okay, what's the deal with her? We still don't know what's the deal with her. I guess we won't know that for a while longer. Oh, so she can speak in a cohesive way, not just babble. I'm assuming she's immortal. Yeah, she can just be reborn. Endless cycle of sacrifice. Interesting. Momo. She's some sort a human. I was about to say that she's some sort of a creature, but another major human error? She seems fairly harmless so far. Remaining of a lost one? What do you mean? She was a lost one but was blanched, and all that remains is the pure concept? No. She doesn't seem blanched. Yeah. Oh. Ivory Hero? The pure concept of white? Or the pure concept of salt? Or someone else entirely, who was lost to the annals of history? She's just gonna be reborn again. Just took off her own head? No, not quite. She's not just immortal, she's also pretty malleable. Can I call 100 friends? Demon summoning? She's gonna summon a bunch of demons. Yep. The repeat of a Pandæmonium. Is that it? Pandæmonium beasts. And he partook in Monstrine, so his sacrifice will be added to the bunch. And she's reborn yet again. And she can sacrifice herself again to summon even more demons. It really is a repeat of the Pandæmonium, isn't it? She's the embodiment of the Pandæmonium. A living embodiment of the Pandæmonium. I thought I had some understanding of the mechanics of pure concepts. Silly fucking me. Silly me. Okay, theory time. I have a couple main theories that I want to note down. Do I even have space? Yeah, I still have some space. We're not encroaching onto Revue Starlight quite yet. Manon and Menou are sisters. I don't know, it just came to me in a dream. When it was mentioned that Manon has a sister, similar names, unknown past of Menou, maybe. Pandæmonium. Pandæmonium. Sure, you can pronounce it that way, why not? And the second theory... What was it? I know, that Akari will have to go back in time so that they can stop the events of this from happening before they have a chance to happen. They have to use Akari's powers to stop those events. I don't know, libel in parenthesis from happening. Deal with Orwell first and much faster, or just not deal with Orwell, just beeline to this city to deal with Manon Libel, because she is much bigger of a threat than Orwell is. But hey, it's just a theory. A game theory, you could say. And here's the full screen view, so let's go through it again. shall we? Last time on Dragon Ball Z. I like the way we're starting it. From Dragon Ball Z straight into how it ended and the continuation. I really, really, really like it. Usually there is either last time on Dragon Ball Z moment, then everything fades to black or fades to white, fades back in, and it's the start of the new episode. Or it's last time on Dragon Ball Z, then it's the opening, and after the opening we start the new episode. Here it flows smoothly from the reminder of the previous episode straight into the current episode. Yeah, I thought Menou would know more, and I thought Menou would tell us more. But alas, you made the world regress, and but yeah, we have a still not quite sure how exactly it works. Because I have it noted down that one pure concept cannot interfere with another or its effects. Or maybe, perhaps, there's a power ranking where a weaker pure concept cannot interfere with a stronger pure concept. Right? Let's say the Sword of Salt is weaker than the pure concept of time, so Akari might be able to rewind the continent of salt. But Pandæmonium might be stronger than the pure concept of time, so Akari cannot rewind the Pandæmonium. That's an alternative explanation. Pure concepts have a power ranking. One can only influence weaker ones. If that's an alternative explanation. You made the world regress. Capital R. Not just once or twice either. Who told you that? Pandæmonium. If I told you I dispelled it. I don't think it's something easy to dispel. Especially not for someone who seemingly has no powers. She's not special. She doesn't seem to have like any sort of powerful magic. She didn't inherit the pure concept from her mother. How would she be able to do that? Anything that's possible? Indeed. It's not. Not something the likes of me could ever do anything about. But she had some sort of a help. What kind of a help was it, and from whom? Could it be that this simply being the umpteenth loop, the umpteenth timeline, is what allowed her to dispel the Pandæmonium walls, because they were weakened by the passage of time, because they are exempt from Akari's powers. That's of course one explanation. Another would be that this time she managed to make some sort of a connection with that little girl who seems to be the embodiment of the Pandæmonium. I'm still not entirely sure how it works. And I don't think we are supposed to fully know how everything works quite yet. It might be explained soon, it might be explained later, but I don't think everything was explained quite yet. Maybe I just missed something. Maybe there's some additional info in the source material that wasn't there. I don't know, but I'm not quite getting it entirely yet. Revenge for my mother? No, she doesn't want revenge. This is an interesting tidbit. She was guided here by the stars, a lost one in the truest sense. So, either reincarnated in this particular world, or isekai'd by truck, or by some other common means. I don't know, eaten up by a book, sucked in by a magic portal in front of 7-Eleven, something like that, the common tropes of being isekai'd. This is a very interesting tidbit because indeed it introduces a whole new possibility for the fourth, and of course for other forces of this world, because there can be lost ones outside of forced knowledge. Sure, Manon's mother was killed in the end by Flare. Yeah, they eventually found her. But Manon was like, what, 6 by that time? So it took them a few years to find her. And perhaps if she was keeping even lower of a profile, maybe she would never have been found whatsoever. I don't think Faust has some, like, pure concept detector or something like that they can just, I don't know, pull out a compass and it points towards the nearest lost one or anything of the sort. So I'm assuming the suspicion was cast by someone from the fourth who was privy to the knowledge that she is a lost one, and he spilled the beans, or someone listened in and reported to the force, or something like that happened. If they were just a bunch of nobodies, if she just found herself in this world and just never used her abilities and just led a calm life without any sort of, attention being placed at herself, she probably would have slipped the force completely. That's interesting because how many lost ones that were unaccounted for have been in this world? How many have lived here? Also, it makes the existence of Faust all the more justified. Because initially, when we were told that the Lost Ones are only ever summoned, they are summoned essentially because some king thinks that they need the Lost One to win a war against another kingdom, and the other kingdom wants to protect themselves, so they summon 2 Lost Ones, and that's how the Lost Ones come to be here. So perhaps if you can somehow eradicate the knowledge about how you can summon them, you can solve the issue that way. You don't necessarily need to keep killing them, you just need to make summoning impossible, or as hard as it can get. But if a lost one can just randomly find their way into the world, that completely removes that possibility of controlling the knowledge of the summoning, because they don't have to be summoned, they can just appear. Sorry, left hand. Appear. My left hand is snappier than my right hand. Yeah, she was truly a lost one. As the representative of the fourth, my father Cantley Bell married the lost one. So the fourth existed even before. That's also an interesting tidbit. Because how did the fourth came to be? Also, they seem accepting of the lost ones, especially that father, right? The representative of the fourth. He didn't want to use her powers, because at some point he'd truly fallen in love with her, but even before that, he didn't force her to use her powers. So do the fourth revere the lost ones in one way or another? Do they see them as salvation, as the much needed force to shake up the very fundamentals of this world? Manon had a whole speech about freedom and about change and how she was free to change, and so she changed and acquired freedom that way, and how Menou can also change and acquire her own sort of freedom. Could it be that the fourth aren't actually a bunch of villains? They just want people to be free. They want to put an end to monarchy, for example, right? And start democracy and whatnot. Could it be that that's their goal? And they see using powers of the Lost Ones as either the only or the most surefire way to get to their goals. I think there might be something to it. Fourth ones want to use Lost Ones to remake the structure of society and free the people. That's one way the fourth ones might be operating. I'm not entirely sure. They seem pretty villainous, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was actually just a misdirection, just a little bit of a bait and switch. Hey, we're gonna show you someone who you'd like to believe is the villains, but they aren't really. Kind of like the motives for Manon, how we thought that she's doing it out of revenge for her mother, but no, she isn't. She's doing it as a revenge for herself. Yeah, the more a lost one uses her power, the most she loses her memories. I had it noted somewhere as a theory. Using pure concept erases memories gradually. Well, that's confirmed. There we go. Older sister Manon, since I initially thought that Manon and the little girl, I'm gonna call her Pandæmonium, because that's how she introduced herself. I thought that Manon and Pandæmonium are sisters, but apparently not. Pandæmonium is just an embodiment of Pandæmonium. And we know that Manon's bloodline has absolutely nothing to do with it, because the pure concept isn't hereditary, not even a little bit. So she can control Monstrine because Monstrine is a tool to be used. Simple as. She doesn't have some special blood in her coming from the Lost Ones that allows her to control it. Pure concept of chaos is inert in the bloodline. Iron Maiden somehow utilizes it. Iron Maiden seems to be utilizing the pure concept of chaos, or the pure concept of evil, or whatever you want to call it. But it doesn't really have anything to do with the bloodline. And I still have no confirmation that the Iron Maiden really is using pure concept of chaos. I'm just gonna leave it be for now. Pandæmonium has to be kept in the Iron Maiden to keep her from transforming into a monster. Well, that's completely out of the window. Because Pandæmonium seems to be essentially a perpetual sacrifice. She doesn't really have any powers. She can't shoot fireballs out of her hands. She can't, turn her feet into blades. She can't transform into a monster. She's weak. She's useless. But when she dies, she can summon. She serves as a sacrifice. A sacrifice either for summoning herself, or a sacrifice for summoning herself and a bunch of demons. She's just a... where was it? Overlord. Victim. Victim in Overlord. Similar concept. Victim was also created with the purpose of being an eternal sacrifice. When Victim gets sacrificed, it invokes some super powerful world tier magic or whatever to wipe out all of the intruders on Nazarick, and Victim can very easily be resurrected. He's kept, or she's kept, or they're kept, whatever the gender of Victim is. Victim can be resurrected very cheaply because it's like a level 1 or something like that. And that's a similar concept with Pandæmonium. She sacrifices herself and then just gets reborn thanks to that sacrifice and summons a bunch of monsters while she's at it. Interesting. Interesting. Akari erased memories of her previous life. I'm gonna give it a yellow. Because sure, she erased memories of her previous life, but because of her overuse of her pure concept, not because she consciously erased those memories. Okay. Manon poisoned her father. I don't think she did, but I'm not crossing it out yet. And Pandæmonium is falling apart. We don't know that for sure. Akari can do something for the Pandæmonium. We don't know that. Is Pandæmonium, is the pure concept of chaos stronger than the pure concept of time? Manon's actions seem to indicate that it is indeed the case, and that Akari can't really stop Pandæmonium, even if she tried. So it's not like she can even bring that little kid back to normal, because there is no little kid. It's the Pandæmonium. It's not a little kid that was possessed. It's not a little kid that was grabbed somewhere from the streets and injected with monstrine until she started sweating monstrine or anything of the sort. No, she is the embodiment of Pandæmonium. So I don't think Akari can do anything for her, but the arc hasn't concluded yet, so I'm not crossing it out quite yet. Pandæmonium, the little girl, is the isekai girl with concept of evil, just immortal. We don't really know what the deal of Pandæmonium Kid is, do we? Sure, it seems like she is the embodiment of Pandæmonium, but she might very well be the original bearer of the concept of chaos, the concept of evil or demon or whatever you want to call it. It differs across translations. She could be that person, her memory is simply erased, and all that is left behind is the pure concept. Little girl came from Pandæmonium, and she went mad inside. Not really, but I'm leaving it be. Akari could rewind human errors, perhaps some of them. Maybe like she could rewind the continent of salt, but she couldn't rewind the Pandæmonium. That's the vibe I'm getting. We don't have a full like confirmation. Okay, and the rest are theories from this episode. Sorry for a little bit of a detour into the theories. Still haven't gone through all of them. I'm gonna leave it for like the last episode, I guess. Let's go back to watching this episode again. And yeah, he was afraid that by using her power, Mother would forget the time they spent together. Yep. You have a sister, you know, a bright, active girl who's full of energy. Bright, active girl who's full of energy. Akari has no memories of her previous life. Could it be that she is Akari's mother? That it's not Manon and Menou who are sisters. It's Akari and Manon. Except Akari was born in Japan, and Manon was born in this world. Maybe it's a little bit of a stretch, but I have a sinking feeling it might be it. Manon and Akari have the same mother. I think that's it. Much more points towards this theory than towards the theory of Manon and Menou being sisters. And yeah, of course, she needed to die. If you invoke that, your child will die, so you have some modicum of conscious control over the pure concept invocation at the moment of your death. You can let it rip, or you can try to contain it. Interesting. I thought it's something completely involuntary. But wait, if it's voluntary, if you can consciously choose to just not invoke your pure concept, and if Akari chases the future where Menou is able to kill her, couldn't Akari just say, I'm not gonna invoke it, I'm just gonna die? Couldn't she do that? That's an important detail. Manon's mother chose to not invoke her pure concept when dying. Can't Akari do that as well? Question mark. Because it is indeed a question. And yeah, Manon bears absolutely no ill will towards Flair. She understands the reasoning that pure concepts are dangerous. And the revenge she wants is against all of them. Because they counted on the pure concept being hereditary, but it wasn't. So they kept abusing her and belittling her. And she decided to live up to their expectations and actually turn into the taboo that they were hoping she would be. And she was able to somehow use Monstrine to invoke the pure concept of chaos. This is still a little blurry to me, since pure concept is something that adheres to the soul, and she didn't inherit any pure concept. How come she can just use Monstrine to cast a spell using that pure concept? We know that Menou can use Akari's pure concept by connecting to her or whatever, but can pure concept be distilled, essentially, and used as a magic ingredient? Could some of Akari's blood, a few drops, or maybe, I don't know, a bottle of Akari's blood be distilled and processed somehow, perhaps even using that Iron Maiden technology to essentially give them time potion? You dip your finger in the bottle, you draw a clock, and it rewinds the time, or something like that? I thought pure concepts are much more personal. It's not something that can be just put in a bottle and and sold on the market. Huh. I love the sound design here. And yeah, all of them are being consumed by the shadow. This power is stronger than yours. So there is some sort of a power tiering, power scaling between pure concepts, and a stronger pure concept can overpower a weaker pure concept. One thing my Magecraft failed to stop was the white globule. Indeed. I think it's actually power scaling. It's all about power. Because if it was about order, for example, right? The white globule was created first. It was the first effect of a pure concept. So a second pure concept could not have an effect on it. But the people in there were frozen using a pure concept, and yet the pure concept of chaos was able to have an effect on it. So it is about power scaling. I think that's as much as I need power ranking. That's as much as I need for a confirmation. Pure concepts have a power ranking. One can only influence weaker ones. I think that theory was created in this episode, and it's already been confirmed. One pure concept cannot interfere with another or its effects. I'm gonna mark it in yellow because it is conditional, under the condition that one is weaker than the other. Okay, let's continue because we've already broken an hour and we're not even halfway through the episode. Jesus Christ. Cue Menou to the rescue. Moving fast as a gale. Smearing around. Not even caring to wind up her knife. And yeah, all those people were turned into shadow. Yeah, what do? I showed myself in this state to Menou. Menou knows. But you don't know that Menou knows. Interesting, will they now be open with each other? Will Akari be open with Menou in this weird, unique timeline? It might be actually something that's necessary for them to progress, to survive even. It's not even, at this point, it's not even about achieving their goals, it's about survival. You stepped into the realm of taboo. Yes, she did. I've truly become free and independent. I will rebel against this world. With the power I wield, with this power I wield, I embody the Fourth, who seek to liberate the world in the name of freedom and independence. I have become what the Fourth is truly meant to be. Arguable, but sure. And yeah, soul is not genetic in the slightest. You're not taboo. Well, just you watch, Mrs. Flair. I will become a taboo, and you will eat your words. That's essentially what she did here. That's a nice face she's making. That's a really nice face she's making. Very neutral. There's not a shred of emotion here. Very neutral. I like this usage of Gale. Yeah, just stab and create a lot of positive pressure at the end of your knife and blow up the arm. Though, is there an inconsistency? There is. Because she was stabbed in the shoulder. And her arm was chopped off, blown off, like halfway along the arm. Or maybe it's just a bloodied dress. So much better than continuing to do nothing with my life. These roles in life, they're reprehensible, aren't they? She's onto something. Is that you're allowed to change to Miss Menou? Just a little bit of a seed of a doubt. Just a little bit. Maybe it'll grow into something. Maybe it won't. Maybe Menou will rebel against the society. Maybe she won't. But the seed has been sown. There will be just a tiniest bit of a doubt. That maybe I can do it differently. Maybe she was right. Maybe I am allowed to change. Maybe I can rebel against the world. Akari, yes, Akari would very much be happy to use her powers for her. Come after the wrong person. You should have gone after this girl. After Pandæmonium. Unlike me, she's more than just a handful. I'm still not entirely sure what exactly Manon's plans were. Like, if Menou and Akari weren't here, if they decided to go a different route, or if they decided to, I don't know, jump on a ship and take them around it, or if they decided to depart early, or something like that, what was her ultimate plan? That's one thing I don't get. Was she planning on being the sacrifice for the Pandæmonium from the very beginning? She was planning on becoming the taboo, but to this degree? Or just to the degree of controlling the shadows, and this was her, like, last resort? Yes, she is using her own death as the sacrifice required to summon herself. I love it. I love it. It's really surprising that I haven't seen something like that done yet in any piece of media. I really do not recall anything like that. But it makes perfect sense. Summoning someone requires a human sacrifice. Well, what if that someone is the human sacrifice for summoning themselves? It makes perfect sense. And yet it was never used anywhere, only here. I love it. And yes, she cannot be killed. She's a human, technically. Conjuring is that of a pure concept, and she's a human error. A human error, existing human error, new human error, and how did she immediately designate her as a human error? From what we've seen so far, human errors are on, like, world-changing, world-altering scale. The Pandæmonium that flooded a whole area with demons. The Sword of Salt that turned an entire continent into salt. Whatever other human errors there were, I forgot. I only remember those two. There was one other star shard, star dusk, star something that, like, ripped out chunks of land and they started floating. It created a bunch of floating islands. Those three I remember. I don't remember the fourth one. This, so far, from what we can see, doesn't seem like a major human error. It's a girl that's immortal. that seems to be the extent of her powers. She's just a human. She's immortal, but just a human. It's not like she can rewind time or create null or turn everything around her into white or anything like that. She can just resurrect, resummon herself. I don't know why the designation as a human error quite yet. Maybe Menou saw something that we didn't. Maybe there was some additional thought process, internal monologue or something like that that was there in the source material but wasn't there in the adaptation. That might be it. If you know what was it in the source material that made Menou instantly designate her as a human error, do let me know. Or is there a difference between human errors and major human errors? Is there a distinction? Or is human error just short for major human error? Could be it. Could be it. I'm not sure. A human error. Ah, so cute, so pouty. I like her. My job is to kill entities like you. But yeah, you'll destroy it. No, you won't. How? I'm super weak and I die really easily, but just going to resurrect. Not even the ivory hero managed to destroy me. First ever mention of heroes. We haven't heard of heroes. We have heard of lost ones. And the lost ones are pretty much like all the time portrayed as the bad ones, right? The lost ones are just the bad guys. They create chaos. They create all sorts of issues. There wasn't any mention of heroes. A lost one becoming a hero or a home-brewed hero that came from this world. There wasn't any. Now there is a mention of the ivory hero. Ivory, white. Could it be the person who had the control over the pure concept of white that was called the ivory hero? Could it be the person that created the Sword of Salt that was the ivory hero? Or someone else entirely? Was the lost one who was actively fighting against other lost ones? Or was it someone from this world who simply possessed outlandish magic? I don't know. We don't know. We can't know quite yet because there hasn't been any leads whatsoever. Strong... Yeah, not even Menou knows who she's talking about. You don't know, but it was so amazing. The strongest, greatest pure concept ever in all of humankind. That tells me the ivory hero might have been a lost one. Hero who was forced into protecting this stupid world, but no one remembers. Because perhaps he was one of the good ones. And when you want to create a perception among people, among the populace, that lost ones are evil and they will only ever lead to the downfall of humanity. And look, major human errors. This is a human error. This is a human error. They turned a continent into salt. Having a lost one who's dubbed a hero, who was protecting the world, having someone like that around is contrary to your agenda. So of course you would want to erase all mention and all trace of such individuals. Because if you don't, people would start questioning. Maybe the lost one that they summoned now, maybe they will actually be a hero. Maybe they're gonna be one of the good ones. Oh, they summoned someone who can rewind time. Maybe she's gonna be a hero. Maybe she's gonna rewind the major human errors. Maybe she will rewind my sick son back to the time when he wasn't still sick. Maybe she will be able to rewind my daughter to back when she was still alive. You know? The existence of a hero among people you want to vilify is unacceptable. Interesting. I like how we're interweaving some politics into it. When the hero did so much for the world. That's why I think I remember hating you all. Because you forgot about the Ivory Hero. Because you forgot about the good ones. Because you believe everybody, every single lost one, is a villain. Ivory Hero was a lost one who was erased from history books to keep the narrative of all lost ones being a scourge. I think that might be it. The entertainment of gods and demons determined by dice. That kinda ties into her pure concept being that of chaos. I thought she said she's a regular human being. This doesn't seem human being-y to me. Sure, she can resurrect herself when she dies, but she can stay alive throughout this, and her neck can stretch this much? I guess it can. I guess that's what the scene in the OP where she was taking her head off signified. And yeah, demons. Sacrificed because of the monstrine. Yep, everybody who partook in the monstrine gives her more power. That's why she was spreading monstrine around as a drug to get it into the systems of however many people needed, because the more people you sacrifice via monstrine, the more demons you probably can summon, the stronger the pure concept is. Pandæmonium was eaten, and then she just crawls right back out of the monsters, out of the demon's mouth. And she's fine yet again. Fear, excitement, and thrills, the triple package. That's me, Pandæmonium. Welcome to the world, Pandæmonium-chan. Let's have a riveting and thrilling and very fun fight to the death in the next episode, titled Pandæmonium. We're finally done. An hour and 18 minutes. This will be my longest episode to date. That was a great episode. It answered some questions. It created new ones. But all of that makes sense. All of the questions it raised, all of the new questions it raised, make sense in context, make perfect sense. It changed my perception of many of those questions. I thought I had a more or less answer to them, but it was subverted completely. It really made me... how should I say it? It made me feel curious again, or rather, it re-piqued my curiosity. Because in every show where there's a lot of mystery, there comes a time where you finally can kinda sorta connect the dots, and you can kinda sorta see where everything is going, right? It is the case with Revue Starlight, it is the case with Symphogear. Usually by episode 8 or 9 I have a decent picture of what's going to happen about the good picture, right? I don't know the details because of course I can't, but I know more or less where it's headed. I thought I have an idea where Virgin Road is headed, more or less. I thought I understood the Lost Ones. I thought I understood pure concepts. Then comes episode 10 and says, bullshit. You don't know shit. We're gonna give you some additional context. We're gonna explain things in a way that makes sense, but it's completely different than what you thought. We're gonna introduce new questions where you thought there aren't going to be any. We're gonna introduce new variables, and it piques my interest again. It piques my curiosity. Because I was about to settle into that comfortable feeling of knowing just around what's going to happen. Not knowing fully, but having a decent idea. Now I'm again in the state you are when you start watching an anime. Where you don't know shit. Where some things are explained at the beginning, like, I don't know, magic system, or there are adventurers that have bronze and silver and gold plaques, and you can reach diamond and whatnot. You know, the usual mechanics of the world. I feel like I'm starting a new anime again, with all the brand new questions and all the brand new information that was given to me. On one hand, I like it, I enjoy it very much. On the other, we only have 2 more episodes left, so I know that the full potential of that knowledge, the full potential of those questions, of those new details, will not be realized unless they really rush it. I'm saying like a volume of light novel squeezed into 2 episodes rush it. And I don't think they will. They're taking their time and I appreciate it. But unless they do rush it, those new details won't be significant, won't bear fruit quite yet. It will need at least another season, and I hope we will get one. From what I know, from what I understand, the light novel is the beloved one. The manga, is there a manga? I think there is. If there is a manga, people probably also enjoy it. But yeah, I know that people love the light novel, so that gives me hope that with the sheer quality of this anime, they will get enough money and enough interest, enough support to actually make season 2. Because it's really not the kind of a show that has fully self-contained arcs, right? Like, usually, or rather usually, in many shows, and I'm out of focus for some reason. There we go. In many shows, an arc or 2 are contained within a season. And usually, when an arc ends, it ends in a way that you don't mind much if there isn't a sequel. It might be facilitated by the fact that, for example, manga gets axed constantly. Probably the same case for light novels, although I'm not entirely sure. So they want to close an arc, close a volume in a way that's satisfactory, in case the other volume never comes out. And you can feel that every single arc is very self-contained. In case of Virgin Road, oh, the camera just zoomed out for some reason. That's why I was out of focus. This should be how the camera is. What the fuck happened? Yeah. What was I on about? Right, that Virgin Road doesn't have self-contained arcs. And it's good. The arcs flow one into another. The Orwell arc flowed perfectly into the other arc because they immediately started their journey. They didn't just settle down to wait things out, like, huh, we defeated Orwell. Now he deserves some rest. No, we defeated Orwell, we go further. We go towards the next city, we go towards our goal. And I can fully see this arc also ending in a way where maybe they defeat Pandæmonium, maybe they seal her up, maybe they get rid of her pure concept. I don't know how they're gonna deal with her. They will deal with her somehow, but it won't be the end. Because there will be new leads, there will be new open threads, there will be fresh intel that they will have to act on, and they will have to continue journeying, continue traveling further towards the Avalon or whatever the name is of the place they're traveling to, right? This anime really is unique. It really is in its storytelling and its pacing. I rarely see an anime this unique. And I'm all for it. I really love it. Probably, honestly, probably my favorite anime of the season. And I'm counting... I might bring a little bit of ire onto myself, but I'm counting Revue Starlight and Symphogear G here. I think Virgin Road just has a little bit of an edge over them. Just a little bit. Maybe not in like production quality, because Virgin Road is pretty and the production quality is high, but ultimately it's fairly simple. There aren't any like elaborate designs or any super dynamic and motion heavy fights or anything like that. There's a lot of talking heads, a lot of shot, reverse shot and whatnot. But as far as piquing my interest and making me write this much stuff, like, Virgin Road wins. We can continue. We can just count the pages. Virgin Road 1, 2, 3, 4. It's gonna start encroaching onto Revue Starlight soon. Actually, it will, because I have place for like maybe 1 or 2 more theories. Then it's Revue Starlight. Revue Starlight has just under a page of theories. Where's Symphogear G? Symphogear G has just under 3 pages. Virgin Road wins here. I'm sorry. I love Symphogear dearly. I love Revue Starlight dearly, but when it comes to the amount of mystery and mechanics and theory crafting, Virgin Road keeps me on my toes all the time. And I love it. And I love it. And I'm gonna have to end it because an hour and a half, holy shit. I need to go to sleep soon. I need to be up early tomorrow. Oh well, I'm just not gonna be fully rested. Whatever. Virgin Road takes precedence over any sort of... what was I about to say? Over any sort of... obowiązki, duties. Over any sort of duties. I guess that's how we can tell it. I don't know. It's late. I'm sleepy. I might be, messing up my words. And my camera is weirdly jumpy, so it probably also wants to rest. Is my phone hot? It is really hot. Okay, I'm gonna end it here. You guys, let me know down in the comments what you think of this episode, what you think of my reaction, my theories, all that jazz. Keep it spoiler-free, please. If there is some additional info that was skipped in the adaptation but was there in the source material, I'm gonna leave it at your own discretion, whether to tell me or not. If you have any doubts or if you want to talk spoilers, you can do that on Discord. Join it right here from this link. And it's open to everybody, so feel free. Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, but tell me why so I can improve. Subscribe to the channel for future releases, not only of Virgin Road, but also Symphogear G, Spy X Family, Revue Starlight, Skeleton Knight in Another World, and Tatenuyusha no Nariagari Season 2, and other anime that I will be releasing in the future and that I released in the past. You can find the archive on my channel, of course. What's next? You can support me monetarily if you really like what I'm doing. You can do that on Patreon, link in the description. For $10 to get early access to non-seasonal shows like Revue Starlight and Symphogear G. And for just $1 or $5 or however much you want, you also get a role on my Discord server, and you get a place in the credits that will be rolling by shortly. If you don't want to spend the money but still want to support me, you can of course do that as well by spreading the word, share my videos, share my channel. The more people know about my channel through the word of mouth, the more people come to this channel. And my camera just completely died. So yeah, you can support me monetarily on Patreon, also because I need to buy a new camera, as you can see. And what else? That's it, isn't it? Yeah, that's it. Even if that's not it, I guess I didn't complete my shilling. Oh well, I don't think you guys would mind. So that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Cheers! And here's the credits that I mentioned. You can help expand this list, or you can help create another with another tier above.